Peace FM 104.3. Who to me take?
Kakra. Very fine. You, Prof. I believe you listened to the Greater Accra chairman of the TUTAG, Dr. Ibrahim Zubairu, as I interviewed him this morning.
No, unfortunately, I couldn't listen to that.
Okay. Well, the claim is that you seem not to be prepared to listen to their grievances, in that the decision you reached the last time that you met with them, you've still not done your part, regardless of the fact that they have honored what you asked them to do. And until you do your part of the negotiation, they are not going back to classes. What do you say to that, sir?
Okay. Maybe you can break it down for me. That what did we agree on, and I have not done my part.
First of all, you agreed that you were going to pay whatever you owed them before school reopens. And as we speak, and you were supposed to do that specifically in December, but as we speak, that has not been done. Apart from that, there's difference between what you pay their colleagues in the universities. And that difference, he mentioned an amount of 500 Ghana cedis as extra amount given to the university teachers for their research allowances. That is to their detriment, and many other things he mentioned. I believe that as the interview progresses, I will bring these out for you.
Okay. So there are two things to that.
Sure.
The first one is not having paid them before school reopen. I suspect that relates to the NLC ruling.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure they would have been referenced to that.
Yeah.
But if you can appreciate the role of the NCTE as supervisor of the sector, what we do is just to receive data from institutions. We vet the data according to criteria by which payments must be made, and then we forward the information to controller to be paid. So I'm struggling to understand why TUTAG is making this whole payment issue a matter about NCTE. Because if we don't receive the data, we cannot process it for them to be paid.
On the issue of data, Prof, his argument is that if you do not have data of TUTAG, how do you manage to pay them all those while?
Okay, so there are two things. TUTAG is coming from the technical, the polytechnic. You know that we have been involved in this conversion. They are transitioning from polytechnic to technical. And so their payroll is changing from the polytechnic payroll to the public university's payroll. So if you were receiving vehicle maintenance allowance in the polytechnic system, or you were receiving owner-occupying allowance in the polytechnic system, because of the changes that have taken place, the argument we've made is that some of these entitlements could have changed. Staff movements have taken place, new appointments have taken place, so all sorts of changes have taken place. So we need to revalidate the data because it's a new payroll we are setting up. And what TUTAG keeps saying is that controller has the data. Please, when you finish with me, call controller and ask them if they have enough data to make that payment. They don't need my permission to do that if they already have that data. Call controller to confirm. We don't have it, and we just need their cooperation so that we can pay that. The second part is this additional 500 you talked about for the UTAG or university lecturers. UTAG actually negotiated with government for this supplementary payment. And by the same principle that we have established, we said that when we set them up as proper universities, as technical universities, they will be entitled to exactly the same conditions as the rest of the universities are entitled. And that was the essence of the Labour Commission ruling. They have since written to us, TUTAG, to say that what we gave to UTAG, they also want that. If you speak with Fair Wages, they will tell you NCTE has had a discussion with them and Fair Wages is taking action on it. So I don't know what the issue is.
Is it your suggestion that TUTAG is acting in bad faith?
Actually, I think it's yes. I would say it's in bad faith because they are not engaging on the issues that actually would lead to the payments of the allowances. We just need to understand what the procedures are. I don't decide how much you are paid. So if you are paid less than somebody else, that's not my problem. We have actually said that we have a certain principle we are operating with. It's a principle of parity. That's as far as NCTE is concerned. So if you have any problems with payments that have been made, there's a process through which you go to remedy that. For example, on the UTAG thing they just said, we have taken that up when they complain, and the thing is in the process. So why? I don't get it. I don't get this UTAG position at all.
Now, Prof, help me clear this. Is it that we do not yet accept TUTAG as equivalent of university or being on the same scale with their colleagues in universities, that is UTAG?
Okay, so you see, I think the more this thing persists in the media, the more that erroneous impression is given. Right from day one, when we said we started the process of converting the polytechnic to technical university, we said we are going to engage in a set of steps, processes that will lead to setting them up on the same standard. We've done that. We did staff audits. We have done a couple of other administrative things. New appointments have been done. Some governance instruments were agreed on. And we said on the basis of that, they are entitled in principle to everything that government has legitimately approved for the public universities. We haven't disputed that. So they are entitled to whatever allowances they are requesting. But there's a due process that they need to go through. If I don't have the data, I cannot vet it and pass it on. But if they say, like I said, if they say that controller already has the data, controller can pay without I don't supervise controller. They can pay without my input if they already have the data. Please confirm with controller. Because they keep saying this and that controller was about to pay and NCTE asked them not to pay. I don't have the authority to stop controller from paying anything. As we sit here, controller is waiting for data, validated data from us on staff allowances, on their allowances, which they are supposed to pay. The controller is expecting that from us. So please, let's appeal to TUTAG to just engage and facilitate the submission of the data so that we can get this thing behind us.
I see. My understanding from the discussions is that you have very minimal role to play in this impasse.
Actually, essentially, that is the point. Our role here is that if they submit the data, we know that this category of staff are entitled to owner-occupier. There's a certain standard of proof that the staff must provide to be considered eligible for the owner-occupier. Our job is to do that due diligence and make sure whoever has been presented for whichever allowance is qualified to collect that allowance. And then we pass it on. That's our role.
And I believe, as we speak, National Council for Tertiary Education hasn't raised any red flag concerning their demands.
Please come again. Red flag,
as in you having any misgiving about the sort of things that TUTAG is demanding from government?
Oh, actually, we have released a press statement. And we can share that with you.
I see. Then my production team will get back to you offline, and then we off air, and then we take hold of that press release, and then know whatever the content is.
Okay, sir.
All right. Prof, we're grateful. We are also grateful. We're grateful for your time this morning. We'll get back to you should the need arise. Professor Mohammed Salif, one of the Executive Secretary at the National Council for Tertiary Education. Now, something you know, and say, "Omo crowd and gazemi, omo hunja dam memusa, omo hunja dam mem."
This FM 104.3. Good to meet you.